Hey everyone, it's Infinity Gamer here, and I've read through the new Season 16 document and compared it to the Season 15 document so that you can get all the differences without having to go page by page. The biggest talking point about Season 16 Part 1 versus Season 15 is actually the lack of major changes. Corvus Belli are really upfront about this in the start of the documentation, where it basically says that this is going to be a season in two parts. This is the difficulty of Corvus Belli running set seasons, from the start of September typically, then doing that for pretty much all the way up until Interplanetario, which is when the season winner gets to then have a free ticket in your country if you're a satellite tournament winner, then gets to actually compete at Interplanetario. So there's very fixed dates as to when seasons have to run in order for that to be a thing. Obviously, we had a bit of a difficulty this year, being 2024, and the Interplanetario didn't run, and so the season 15 winners of satellite tournaments didn't have an Interplanetario to go to. Corvus Belli has fixed that by saying all the satellite winners are actually able to go to the 2025 Interplanetario along with the Season 16 winners. Season 16 in two parts. The part that I am talking about in this video is part 1. That is the immediate change from Season 15 to Season 16. Also new order, so no change thematically from the fluff and all of that. And that, in fact, I think Corvus Belli are addressing that quite well, because they take out all the new order fluff that was in Season 15 and Season 16 and replace it with this is going to be a season in two parts. Part 1 is going to be played during the N4 rules, and Part 2 is going to be played during the N5 rules. So get all your guided missile lists in and break every opponent using them, because who knows what's going to happen in N5. That means that the second half of the season could be quite different. So the major thing is that this is probably a season 15.5 rather than a full season 16, but obviously has to be, and that's only in the context of like rule changes and updates, because in all other aspects it's season 16. So there's a couple of things that have been dropped. O12 Prestige is gone. I'll do a quick recap on that. And 5 missions get culled from season 15 to season 16 part 1. Let's go through all of the major updates so that we can talk about in more detail. So the biggest one, obviously, O12 Prestige getting nixed entirely. For those of you that remember it from Season 15, that was the ability to use a commands token to basically get a regular order in any of the pools. One of the caveats to that was that you couldn't use that in a pool that had tactical awareness available to it, or use this information to you now because it's gone completely. So any lists that effectively lent on using O12 Prestige, or were designed specifically around that, couldn't change. I, for one, did have lists that did factor in O12 Prestige, but only in the sense that in my most recent Torchlight lists, I've had quite a lot of tactical awareness, so I've had to push them all into the same group, whether I wanted to or not, so that my group 2 actually could then access the O12 Prestige if I needed to. Now I've got more flexibility to put tactical awareness in both lists, which is how I would have loved to have run them. So it gives me, I'm actually quite grateful that it's gone, despite Torchlight being O12. I actually couldn't use it as well as possible. So let's jump straight into where there are other changes. So one of them is the Border Skirmishes. That's the other season-wide rule that gets a bit of an update. That gets a new inclusion for Parachutists. So not much of a change there to the AD side of things, but Parachutist gets its own honourable mention, which is well worth taking a look at if you're taking Parachutist. That's actually all of the major changes that we get in the pre-rule set, effectively. So one removal in O12 Prestige and then one slight addition in Parachutists getting included in that Border Skirmish. Let's move into the missions now, so I can try and do this in sub 10 minutes and give you all the updates possible. Early we lose a mission, B-Pong. That is gone from Season 16. If you played it at Season 15, hope you enjoyed it. Not available anymore. Not everyone liked it. I played it, didn't mind it, but also not going to miss it. I will not lament its loss. And then we go through again countermeasures. It gets a little bit of a small adjustment in that it now gets a tag for suitable for reinforcements, which is great to be seeing. Nice to see Corvus Belli being a bit clearer on which ones are good for reinforcements and which ones aren't. That tag is nice. As does the next mission on the list, Decapitation. That gets no further changes other than the suitable for reinforcements tag. Evacuation gets chopped from the Season 16. Doesn't make it from Season 15 to Season 16 part 1. Bye-bye, Evacuation. I think I played that in Season 15. So the tournament that I run every year is actually generally the first tournament in New Zealand that plays to the new season, and it is this year actually as well. I think I had Evacuation. It was actually quite complicated. I don't think everyone loved it. Firefight gets the suitable for reinforcements tag, but no other changes to it. The next tweak is highly classified, but that only gets the tweak that it gets the new suitable for reinforcements tag. Last launch gets taken out. Doesn't make it through. Last launch gone. The same fate befalls looting and sabotage. Gone. Now that one is one that I have put in a couple of tournaments. Didn't hate it. Rest in looted pieces. Mind Wipe gets the nod for being reinforcement suitable, but otherwise no further changes. Panic Room gets some adjustment, tidying up of its bullet points in the scoring section. If you do have the old Season 15 document open, you'll notice that there's bullet points where there shouldn't be one. They're not different scoring systems. It's actually just, yeah, it's a mess. But that gets tidied up quite nicely. Actually, going through these two documents was a little bit tricky because some of the changes that Corbett made was actually just reformatting the column sizes. And so I'd be scanning through and just go, oh, that's got an extra line. Actually read it and then go, it's no different. They've just changed the width. I love Corpus Belli and everything they do is amazing, but I sometimes wish that an absolute design stickler would go through their documentation, because the amount of like single words that exist or that are then split up and in a completely different section of the page that could easily be the space for them to all be in one area. I would really love someone to just tidy and clean and just make it neater. Yeah, Power Pack gone, which is tricky for me because the tournament I'm organising next month had Power Pack in it, so that's now got to, let's go down. CB are being ruthless, it seems, this season. Well, we're 5 missions down. Long live King Bostria, and let's fear the mighty swing of the mission machete, because if this is anything to go by, maybe Season 16 won't have, Part 2 won't have any missions in it. Then we get masking, that gets the suitable for reinforcements nod. Then we're into the direct action missions, whizzing through this, which is probably exactly what you want. Out of the direct action missions, Cutthroat gets the reinforcements tag. That's it. That's the only, yeah, that's it. Resilience Ops does get a couple of small changes. So one of the small changes is that the HVT profiles now show inches instead of centimeters in their movement profile. Real small tweak, but it comes up when you're analyzing page by page stuff. There's also new additions on the second to last page of Season 16 Part 1, which are well worth looking at if you play Resilience Ops. They're hiding on the second to last page right at the very bottom, but it's more of like a consistency around the deployment forms, end of missions rules for Resilience Ops, which is good because it hasn't always been clear in Resilience Ops as to whether the retreat conditions actually apply to them. Because they were omitted in Season 15, I think a lot of people played it that there wasn't retreat, even though it wasn't clear as to why it wasn't. A lot more clarity here. Retreat condition is added into Resilience Ops missions, so make sure that you are aware of that if you are playing Resilience Ops, because that's a little bit of a relatively significant change, I think, from Season 15 to 16 Part 1. Those are all the changes that I could spot. Have you spotted anything that I've maybe missed in the change from Season 15 to Season 16? What are you thinking? Are you sad to see those 5 missions go? Do you not mind them? What did you think about Beepong? What do you think about looting and sabotage? What do you think 16 Part 2 has in store for us? If there's relatively minor changes here, what do we think we can expect in 16 Part 2? Obviously, thematically, it's probably going to be a big leap forward to align with N5 and Sandtrap and the new planet being discovered and everything like that. What do we think is actually going to happen to the missions? Are there going to be major changes, or do we think this is going to be just tidying up to align with the, vitality, instead of saying, wounds and unconscious and, all that sort of stuff? Are we basically just going to get alignment? Really keen to hear your thoughts. Jump in the comments below and let me know what you think, and I will be back soon with another video.